short. I'm still sitting in the coffee shop, um, getting ready to drink my coffee and probably play on the background. I might stream some Call of Duty videos today. I have a couple of hours before I have to make my way to this job interview, so that's going to happen. I hope everybody is doing well this morning. I was just reading the notification that had come down on the screen, but I didn't want to open that because I got my live up right now. So there's that. I hope, like I said, everybody is doing well. The people around me are doing well. My brother just moved into his apartment. Family's doing good. Girlfriend's doing all right. We make and do as we always do. She just got a job. I'm about to get a couple of jobs. I'm gonna try and work 80 hours a week, two full-time jobs, go from one to the other, and just double up if at all possible. If things work out the way that I'm thinking they will, and I just won't work at all because I'll constantly be working. I forgot I had that was my alarm on my phone letting me know that it's 6 o'clock in the morning because I had put one on the other day and they got turned off. I had turned it on the other day and they got turned off. And so I missed something that I wasn't trying to miss. So now I will put a couple of them on my phone like I did, and I didn't miss what I needed to. So it's all working out. But I'm probably gonna jump on Call of Duty real quick, stream some of that, and put them up on the channel. So I think we're gonna look forward to that because this tumble with the coffee over here is still extremely hot, and I can't drink it at 190 degrees coming out the machine. So I gotta let that cool off some more. I'm looking at my face right now, and I'm seeing I nicked my lip a couple of times when I showed my face yesterday. Good morning, Chris. I hope you're having a good morning. I'm just sitting in my local Starbucks coffee shop like I do every day. And saying, just saying hello. Hello, Angela. Hello. Hope everything is well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good morning. Good morning. Or as the Germans would say, Guten Morgen. I took German in high school, and I know just enough to have a small conversation. I can buy something. I can ask you directions to a train station, to an airport, to a hotel, and that's about it. Oh, it's Angelina. I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name. Hello, I like the pink hands. My favorite color is pink. So, cool dreads. You're in America. I'm in America. Yes, I am from America. I have yet to travel outside the United States, but the first place I'm going to go is Canada because it's 150 miles from me. And then I would like to go to Germany because that was the country that I chose to do all of my book reports on in school. And then maybe a couple other countries in Europe just because I'm there. But it'll be a little while before I can actually get back on my travel. I did a lot of traveling here in the United States. I've been to every corner of the United States. I live in Seattle. You know what I'm saying? I've been to California. I've been to Florida. I've been to New York City. I went to New York City one time when I was 18. That was the craziest experience I have ever had in my life. I hyperventilated and almost died because my parents live on the West Coast. They live in California. I Oh, you're from Florida. Okay, okay. I wish Floridians knew how to drive. I had to do it. I'm sorry. But my parents live on the West Coast, and so when I'm in California and I'm visiting with them, we drive everywhere we go. And when we went to New York, that's not what happened. My dad flew out the night before me so he could get the hotel room in the car. I flew out one night later, got to JFK. He picked me up. We jumped in the car and we went to the hotel room and slept it off. And I got in at like 11 o'clock. And that was the first thing I wanted to do after that 5 hour flight was get in the bed. So I did that. I have anxiety and I have post-traumatic stress disorder and I'm an insomniac and I have cerebral palsy. So there was a lot of things that contributed to the fact I felt like I wanted to die. And so once we got up that morning, to leave the hotel room, we jumped in the car. I'm thinking, okay, yep, we're gonna drive everywhere we go. That's not the way that it went. We ended up driving to a train station. I stayed on the train for maybe 10 minutes, and then I don't know if the person that passed me was homeless or if he just hadn't showered or whatever the case may be. Um, we got into Chinatown. I told my dad, I was like, I cannot be on this train anymore. You know what I'm saying? It was underground, so we got upstairs. You know what I'm saying? That burst of fresh air was nice, but I was still hyperventilating. I wanted to calm down. So my dad, he went into shop in Chinatown and he came out with an herbal supplement. He was like, take two of these. I took two of those little herbal supplement pills. By the time they hit my stomach, I was calm, I was collected, and I didn't feel like I was going to die. So that was part of my story on New York City. But it's a beautiful city. The people are rude. And you hold the door for somebody, they don't acknowledge you. So that was different. But to answer your question, Gibb, yes, I can walk. Yes, I do have cerebral palsy, but my case is very, very light. I do know people that have cerebral palsy that cannot walk. I do know people that are in wheelchairs. They say I'll be in one eventually, but I'm not there yet. I don't want to get there, but I hope that answers your question. If you have any more, I'm gladly willing to ask. I can walk. I do walk with a limp because one of my limbs is a quarter inch shorter than the other, but it's very, very nice, and I've never let cerebral palsy stop me. Is your niece in a chair, or can she walk? The reason I asked that question is because I never let cerebral palsy stop me. I'm saying I didn't get my first job till I was like 28 years old. I ran with that first job for like 2 years, and then I ventured off and got some more jobs. But cerebral palsy to me is a condition that I myself can beat, and I think anybody else that has the condition can beat it too. Even though it's a neurological condition that most of us are born with, some people are not. But I always said to myself that I wanted to do more. I wanted to put forth more effort. I wanted to be the best that I could be. She uses a walker. It breaks my heart, but I still have this beautiful memory of carrying her to see her first ever fireworks. She is so happy. That's awesome. I don't mind fireworks, but I have to use small fireworks because I don't like loud noises because of my post traumatic stress disorder and my anxiety. And I have also been in some situations where some very loud things have happened. So I'm very sensitive to noises, but I'm definitely not mad or opposed to being in areas where they use fireworks. I'm a gun owner, so I shoot guns a lot, but that also has something to do with why my hearing is a little bit messed up. The first time I had ever gone out and shot some guns, I was so excited I didn't put hearing protection on. And so when I fired that gun, it was a lot of fun, and I seen muzzle flash, and it was a blast. But it altered my hearing, so now I'm even more sensitive to loud noises. I do suffer from PTSD, and I don't wish it on anybody. I don't like crowds because of my post traumatic stress disorder and my anxiety, but I don't let my mental and physical disabilities stop. I'm always looking for progress. I'm always trying to be the best person that I can be. I just graduated from college in February with associates in applied science and business management. So I'm extremely excited for that because I told myself when I was very, very young that I wanted to be college educated. And when I tried the first time at like 17, it didn't work out because I had special circumstances. One of my parents died a couple of years before that. And the federal government was like, oh, it's based on what income your parents have made because you're still a teenager and so you don't have any work history. So they told me I had to wait until I went and become of age. They told me I had to wait till I turned 25. And so once I turned 25, I started going to community college because I tried to go to the University of Washington and I missed the entrance exam by 2 points. So they were like, oh, you have to go to a community college and you have to get your prerequisite classes done. And so I was like, okay. I spent 1 quarter at the community college here in my city that I went to, and then I got put on disciplinary probation because the security guards they harassed me the whole quarter that I was there, and before that. So I was like, instead of taking extra classes, excuse me, instead of taking extra classes that I didn't feel I needed, I decided I was going to go to a completely different school. And that's what I did. I went to school online because I was working full time. I was taking care of my family. I was doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I could not, for the life of me, get to campus, even though there is a campus for my school here in my local area. It's not in my city, but it's like 1 or 2 cities over. And there was a couple times that I had to go to that campus because I had to go fill out paperwork and I had to go pick up checks for my financial aid and whatnot. Excuse me. I'm still waking up. I haven't even had my first sip yet. As you guys can see, it's still steaming. I don't have the lid on my tumbler because I want to drink it, but it's still steaming. So we're going to let that steam up a little bit and I'm going to continue to sit here on the live. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you're not working too hard. I hope you work smart, not hard. I'm literally just killing time before I have to go to my job interviews. I'm hoping that I get the job in security, and I'm hoping if I can get that, I can get like an overnight shift because I'm also hoping that I get either the sales job or the assistant manager position in the store that I applied to because I'm trying to work 2 jobs because I need more money. My children are getting older. I want to buy a house and I had the savings to do that. Get some coffee. You're right. I've got coffee. I just can't drink it because it comes out of the machine. that they brew it in at 190 degrees, and I don't want to burn my esophagus like my friend Dorian did as a child. He had drank some coffee like what I got right here, and he was like 5 years old, and the coffee was so hot that it burnt his esophagus, and so now he has to be careful about drinking hot liquids, and he doesn't smoke because of it, and a few other things. Is working hard for me? No, it's not necessarily hard, but I do have, I'm saying, my own limitations, just like everybody else. I'm saying my limitations are physical and a little bit mental. I'm saying yours may be all physical, they may be all mental, or it may be a combination of both. But I am not going to be disappointed. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. I'm going to continue to strive for progress because that's what I know. I've never been stagnant. I've never let my disabilities get to me. I've always put forth the effort to be the best that I could be, not just for myself, but for others. And I appreciate that. I really do hope I get these two jobs because I have been unemployed for the last like 7 months out of the what 3 or 4 years that I've been unemployed or employed. I've been unemployed a year of that time, and I don't wish unemployment on anybody. I don't wish homelessness on anybody because it could happen to anybody. You know what I'm saying? I know people that were executives in companies and they lost everything, their jobs, their cars, their homes, and had to start over. Did God, you ever consider disability benefits? Yes, I have, and I was on disability, but I can make more money working than disability will pay. So I would like to go back to work. I mean, you have cerebral palsy, you could actually get approved. I have been approved. I was on Social Security for 25 years, I think it was, before I started working. And I wanted to work. I wanted more money. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do. I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? No, it's not your bad. I didn't want to be stuck with the stereotype. Oh, because you have disabilities, you can't work and you can't do this and you can't do that. I didn't want that for myself. So I took it for what it was and I used it when I needed it and I still use it when I need it. But I would rather work because I feel better about myself. When I'm working, I'm pursuing knowledge. I'm being a productive member of society. I'm benefiting myself. I'm benefiting my family. I'm benefiting others around me. Like one of the jobs that I have an interview for is a canvasser for a nonprofit organization and donations to save bees, right? Everybody's seen the movie Bee Movie with Jerry Seinfeld. That movie, I went to theaters with my brother to see that movie actually, and it was great. I just watched that movie like 3 or 4 weeks ago. But in that movie, it showcases that we need bees because they pollinate everything, and there's some pesticides and chemicals that humans are spraying on crops and whatnot, and it's killing the bees. And with no bees, we don't have any pollen, which means nothing grows. So I wouldn't mind doing that. I mean, I'm on my feet all the time anyway. Right. If the bees die, we die. You're right. I'm saying, and that's what happened because in the movie they couldn't get the pollen to the flowers and they died and then they repopulated and repollinated the plants and everything came back to life. I'm saying, what we see in movies and what we see in the media early, like in '95, Deep Impact, right? 2 decades later, we had a African American president for the first time, right? The movie B movie that happened, and that movie came out what, like 2007. In that movie that happened, and then to find out with this job that you'd be saving bees and preventing these companies and other, civilians and just the regular world, from using these things, it would benefit us because it doesn't kill the bees, right? So you're right. If the bees dies, we die. So we got to prevent that. I like flowers. You know what I'm saying? My state flower here in Washington State, where I live currently, is the rhododendron flower. It's a beautiful flower. It's bright, it's pink, and I love them, but it's not my favorite flower. My favorite flower is roses, and my second favorite flower is lilies. But you got to think, what eats plants, right? What pollinates plants and flowers, and pollen travels in air and water and this and that. So it gets around. Why would we want to kill off bees? Then we don't get honey, which is natural and stays good for forever. I like honey. I'm sure you like honey. You know, I like it on pancakes. I like it on waffles. I like it in butter. I like it on apples. You know, it's just what do we want to do? And that's one of the things that I'm looking at is how can I be better for society? How can I be better for my community? How can I be better just because I love honey? LOL, it's so good with peanut butter on toast. Yeah. Do you cut your toast into triangles or do you cut the crust off your toast? How do you eat your toast? That's funny. I don't know what I want for breakfast, but I'm kind of hungry, and normally I curb my appetite with coffee, but I know I need to eat something. I might go get some food now, or I might just wait until I go for my job interview. It's at like 12 o'clock, so I might just not eat breakfast and drink coffee for breakfast, and then go get lunch later. I don't know. I just trying to stay busy. I don't like spending money because you know money doesn't go as far as it used to, but I know that spending money is necessary. It has to happen. It's part of life. But I like my bank account balance to go up, not down. And right now it's very down. I mean, I have some money. Just listen to your body. If you feel like you got to get something cheap, you're right. Uh, I went out yesterday to one of the local places, and I had something small, and then I had went and got a shower, and that was very, very enjoyable. I couldn't find my razor until after I got out of the shower, which I'm glad I did because the hair on my face is super coarse and thick. So there's that. But I'm ready for the job interview. I gotta tie my hair up. My hair is down to my hips. So I gotta tie that up so it looks professional when I walk in the building and I have my hair ties. I just gotta tie it up. I just have to tie it up loosely so that way it doesn't cause me pain because when it's up and I'm working, it'll be up for 12 hours. And if I do it too tight, it'll cause me pain. Ah, I think I'm almost ready for that first sick feeling. Yeah, you're gonna get it. You look put together. And have you ever tried delivering food for DoorDash? No, I haven't. I don't have a car anymore. Both of my cars got stolen and towed, but I know there are people that deliver food by like walking, and they also deliver by e-bike. I've really been looking at getting an e-bike, but I have to find the place to store it. The only thing is doing stuff like DoorDash and security like I do. It's 1099 contractor work, and as a contractor, you can pull yourself from a contract, or a client can pull you from a contract, and it can be hard. That's what happened to me before with one of the security companies that I was working for. I got pulled from a contract, and then they were like, "Oh, we found another contract." I told one of the operations managers to let me, figure out my transportation because at the time I didn't have a car and I was using public transportation. I figured that out and I let him know that, and then he had filled the contract with somebody else, so I didn't get that job. And then I had applied for 10 or 12 different positions with that company, and then they sent my information to a completely different division within that company. So you can't work for both of the divisions, the security division and the event services division at the same time. And the event services division is part-time work, so I sent an email to one of the people and I was like, "Hey, well, you have told me that I can get a job with this side of the company, but it's part-time work, and you still haven't sent me the referral packets and the background check packets and all that." So I'm like, if I can't get a job here soon, I'm either going to go apply with a different security company, which I did. I applied with 7 of them, or I'm just gonna put this on hold and I'm gonna try and go get in a different industry completely, which I have also done. I've done customer service, I've done sales, I've done insane accounting, not for anybody but myself, but I've done that. I could do that. I have dyslexia also, so if I stare at stuff too long, it gets to me. But I'm always constantly seeking knowledge. I always want to benefit myself and benefit others around me, because if I can offer a helping hand, then I feel good about myself, and you feel good too because you needed that helping hand. You know what I'm saying? I've lived in trap houses, I've lived in tents, I've lived in cars, I've lived on the streets, I've stayed in shelters. I've been on both sides of that plate where, I'm volunteering to serve that plate, and I'm also the one receiving that plate. So you said your wife is dyslexic and has ADHD. Yeah, mine too. I think it's why we get along so well. We're both very similar. That's true. That's a good thing. How long have you been married? You know, they say yin and yang, opposites attract. You can't have all positivity and you can't have all negativity. So kudos to you, my man, for keeping that relationship alive. Because I know relationships are hard. I've been engaged twice. I'm trying to get married a third time, 3 years, and it's the happiest I've ever been. Congratulations. Congratulations. And my ex girlfriend, the woman I love, doesn't want to get married, but I'm like, we should get married because we could, you know, benefit mutually from getting married. You know, I make more money than she does. I have better health insurance. The kids would get better health insurance. She would be able to get, the house, the car, whatever else, and whatnot. She's almost 40. I just turned 32. So there's an age difference, and I get it. She's kind of burnt out, but I've been in her life for a handful of years, and I'm not going anywhere. I got to see the kids for a little while a couple of days ago. They make me happy. That's why I do what I do because I choose to be happy. And you're welcome. You've got a baby girl. Congratulations. I'm partial to girls because I don't have any of my own, but I only have four nieces and I have 12 nephews. So there's that. But I'm not mad. It happens. It happens. If not, that's cool too. I mean, I have three children because she has three children, and I take on that responsibility like I'm supposed to. You said, "Dang, you're looking good. I thought you were 20 something. You'll get there. I'm proud of you putting in the work." Yeah, I'm 32 actually. I just turned 32 at the end of April, so I think I've been 32 for almost a month, a little over a month. You know, I try to keep myself up. I don't eat the greatest. I'm a smoker, but I'm trying to quit again for the last time. And I just stay active, man. I walk like between 20 and 40 miles a week. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes more, sometimes less. I live in Seattle, like I was saying, so it's always raining here. And the woman I love, she's like, "Oh, what's the weather look like?" I'm like, "Honey, it's raining. Honey, it's gray." And you know what I'm saying? With the fact that she has ADHD and her other conditions, she doesn't like the gray, And I'm like, "Well, excuse me." I'm like, "Well, we could move." You know, her mom just had come back from the Carolinas because she was living nicely over there, and her husband died, and she had no reason to be over there anymore. So she had come back over here, and now she's staying with her mom or with her daughter, and you know what I'm saying, they're happy. Do you vape or smoke cigarettes? I do a combination of both, and I shouldn't because I know that everything that I do in this life is going to catch up to me at some point in time or another in my life. But life is stressful. And before I cut my face and trimmed it up to look good for these job interviews, I grew a beard, and it doesn't grow as thick as it used to because I've taken hormones to kind of alter that and change that. But I have gray hairs all over my chin, my sideburns, my beard, all of it. Have you ever tried those vapes that have no nicotine in them and are just vitamins? I have. I actually have a vape mod down here in my backpack that I got from my brother. He spent like 150 bucks on it and didn't really use it. And I use it, you know, but there are those times where I definitely want nicotine or I definitely want this or that. But I know that because I have children, even though she says I'm not allowed to claim them, and I do anyway because I support them, right? I spent $100,000 in 3 years supporting them. Why can I not claim them? Oh, because the baby's father, you know what I'm saying, gets mad, but he doesn't do much. I've done more than he's done in his child's entire life. Like, and yeah, like it's hella nice of him. I'm like, yo, you should not be mad at me for putting in the work and taking care. Oh, you mean my brother? Yes, it was very nice of him. He spent like $150 on the thing and didn't use it. Used it a couple of times. So he was like, "Oh, I know you'll use it if I give it to you," and I was like, "Yeah," but you know, I don't like to be stagnant. I don't like to be wasteful. You know what I'm saying, I don't like to watch the money that I make and everything that I do go down the drain. You know what I'm saying? It's proven that 40% of food that we Americans buy gets wasted. You know what I'm saying? When I lived in my own apartment and I cooked every night, I'd cook 3 nights a week or 5 nights a week. And then I would eat leftovers for the next like week or so just because I knew the food was still good. I didn't want it to go to waste. I cooked it, so I knew what it was. It was delicious tasting because I made it, and that's how I survived. I'm not a wasteful person. I don't like to live above my means. I don't like excess. I like to have what I need and maybe just a little bit more, so I'm comfortable, and that's what I do. You know, I was reading about that. Yeah, Mr. Beast works with people who are trying to change the way they redirect food that would be wasted into people's communities. Exactly, like fast food restaurants. You know what I mean? They lock up their trash because they don't want homeless people or even a non-homeless person. You know what I'm saying? Just a regular person digging in their trash can for the food. But at the same time, where's it gonna go? It's gonna go to a landfill. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna go to waste. But I'm sure you could find 3 or 4 people, maybe more, that would eat that food just because they're hungry. You know what I mean? And it does need to change. I mean, I've seen documentaries about the casinos in Vegas. You know what I mean? Where they go through hundreds and thousands of pounds of food every single day. I'm saying it goes to pig farms to fatten up pigs, or it goes into landfills and gets wasted. I'm saying there's definitely somebody in the world that would eat that food, you know, and it's kind of sad, but what there are in life are haves and have-nots. Not everybody can win. You know what I'm saying? If everybody was a winner, then it'd be all positive. There'd be no negativity. It wouldn't work. There has to be positivity and negativity because that's just how the world works. Have you heard about the people who live in tunnels in Las Vegas? That shit breaks my heart. And you got a place, right? No, actually, I don't because I'm fighting with my life. Actually, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I've been couch surfing with friends. I've been sleeping on benches. I've been staying up all night because of my insomnia. But I'm surviving. I have food. You know what I'm saying? I have blankets. I have clothes. You know what I mean? I'm doing the best that I can given my situation. You know, I got to get my driver's license back so I can also use that for work. But I'm surviving. I'm not dwelling on my situation. I was living in my car before my car got towed. I was surviving, even though that car had mold in it. You know, I was able to remove the mold or some of it. But I'm an adult. I'm of age. I'm developed, but I'm not mad. You know, because I've been that have and I've been that have not. You know what I'm saying? My parents, they live in a $250,000 house. I lived in that house. That's supposed to be my house. You know what I'm saying? When my parents pass away. But that house is in California, and I don't want to live there because I don't like the politics in that state. You know what I'm saying? That and I'm not allowed to have my guns and toys that I want when I'm there. Oh, good song. This is a song that I heard in my glass blowing career one time, and I never found out the name of the song. And you said, my brothers, homeless. We tried bringing him home, but he kicked the car door out and ran back to California. I don't remember the name of the song, and I've heard it thousands of times, but that sucks, man. I mean, when I left Washington State when I was, how old was I? I think I was like 16 or 17. I called my sister because I was going through some tough times, and I needed to get out of here, you know. And so I called my sister, and she drove up from Phoenix to come get me, and you know what I'm saying, we ended up jumping in the car, and we're flying down I-10 almost home to her house, and her husband stops the car and, tells my brother to jump out if he wanted to, and he got all mad about it. He stayed down there with me for like a year, maybe two, and then he ended up leaving and going to Michigan. Your brother's schizophrenic. It's so sad. He finally has a place where he's getting help. I hope God blesses you with this job. I appreciate that. And you know what I'm saying, I hope your brother can get through that, because once you get diagnosed with a condition like that, that diagnosis never goes away. But just because I have a condition doesn't mean I'm not a human being. And that doesn't mean I don't need to be treated with respect and kindness and love and loyalty, So I hope you can get into contact with your brother, and I hope you can get him to see, you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta use your head and not your head, you know what I mean? You gotta look at things from multiple perspectives and outlooks, and sometimes you have to step outside that box. Not everybody can do it. Some people can, some cannot. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's the haves and the have-nots, you know. And everybody should be able to put in the work. Say your brother only talks to your dad, he won't talk with anyone else. I don't know why I love him. You love him because that's your brother. You love him because that's your family, even though your family makes good, bad, or ugly choices. You have to live with those, and you have to respect them, because we're individuals. But hey, maybe you can try and reach out to your brother and try and do something new. Maybe you can. Okay, he won't talk with you. Okay, so maybe you can go to where he's at. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you can initiate that conversation. Go out for lunch or dinner, or you know what I'm saying, go sit in the park and have a picnic. I don't know. But like I said, because now we're having a conversation, this is an outside perspective looking in on your situation. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you could try something like that. Hey, I don't know if you go to the gym, maybe you could get him to go to the gym with you or whatever, you know. But the reason I say that is because I don't have my mother. My mother's dead, been dead for 17 years. You know what I'm saying? Her birthday's on Monday. So I'm gonna, go have a drink for my mom and whatnot. I just lost my brother like a year ago in February. I think it was like 24, you know, and you only have so many, friends and family members. You only have so much time that you can, be around them and speak with them, and you got to cherish that time. So, you know, and try and patch that up. You know what I mean? I wasn't on the best of terms with my mother before she died. I wasn't on the best of terms with my brother before he died. He was my best friend. You know what I'm saying? So do what you can to try and patch that up. He's a human being. He's my big brother. Always will be. And I'm thinking of it. It's just he gets very upset when people visit. I'm gonna see if I can call him though. Do what you can, and I appreciate that. Thank you for being sympathetic and empathetic to my situation and me losing my mother and my brother. I appreciate that. When I hop off, I'm gonna tell my dad to see if he can give me a number to reach him. Yeah, I would do that, like I said, because you're not on the best of terms with your big brother because that's your big brother, and he's got his own problems he's going through. But at the same time, that's your brother. You know what I mean? How would you feel if you didn't get to see him and something happened to him? You know what I mean? You'd be like, damn, I wish I would have been able to see him one more time, give him that hug. You know what I mean? And you'd be surprised at what a hug does for somebody. You'd be surprised at what a three-letter "I love you" does to somebody. You know what I mean? And it's to each their own, but at the same time, we all deserve love. We all deserve loyalty. We all deserve respect. You know. So I hope you can get back in contact with your brother. I really do, because not only is that going to benefit him to know that somebody's still out there looking for him and still loves him, but it's also going to make you feel good because now you've seen him and you talked with him and you've done whatever you could to be there for him. You know what I'm saying? He may not notice it right now, but there may come a time where he notices that. Excuse me. He notices that, and he may come to a realization that, hey, I do need to change, not just for my mental health, but for my physical health and the well-being of my family too. You know what I mean? So it just depends on how you guys go about that. How much older is your brother than you? My brother was 19 years older than me. My oldest brother was. You know what I'm saying? My nearest brother, he's only a minute older than me. Oh, okay. He's 34. Okay, so he's a couple years older than me and 10 years older than you. You know what I'm saying? You can call me by my name, man. My name is Dexter, but the reason why my channel name is AZtashiglass is because that's what I do by trade. I'm a glass blower. I learned glass blowing in my youth and my teenage years, and I founded my own company with that name. You know what I'm saying? And so I took my favorite state, which is Arizona, and my niece's name, which is Tashiana, and I put the two together, and that's where the beginning of my name Az Tashi came from, because I put those two things together. You know what I'm saying? There's a few things on my channel about my glass blowing. I haven't been blowing glass lately because it's expensive and I have, you know, my family to take care of. But when I get back to it, excuse me, when I get back to it, I'm definitely gonna put some stuff up in the store. I'm definitely gonna put some more videos up on YouTube and whatnot. Blown away, crazy. Okay, so if you've seen the first season of Blown Away, there was a guy on there and his name was Edgar. He did sculptures. Yeah, it's a good show. The guy Edgar, he was in the first season. He made sculptures, and the judges, they got mad. I know that guy personally. I actually blow glass with him and have blown glass with him for many years. And so when I found out that they actually did a TV show on glass blowing, and I found out that it was Blown Away, and I found out that my friend was on Blown Away, I was like super excited because that was really, really cool that, you know what I'm saying, somebody that I know personally, that I went to school with, that I've blown glass with, you know what I'm saying, made it. And that was extremely cool. I can't do that, you know what I'm saying, but I definitely had given him kudos when I had seen him, and I had seen that couple of episodes that he was in, because glass blowing is a lot of fun. I learned as a child and a teenager, you know what I'm saying, and it kept me out of trouble. Did I get in trouble? Yes, I did. But did I get a criminal record as a teenager or as an adult? No, I didn't. Mhm. I stopped watching Blown Away after my friend Edgar was taken off the show, because I saw how they did him. He specializes in sculpture, and a lot of sculptures aren't blown, and that's what they wanted. They wanted blown glass. So I just stopped watching it, and I've seen a couple other episodes and whatnot, but once my friend got eliminated from the show, that was really it for me. You know, I've blown glass in a number of studios around the country. I've blown glass in Phoenix. I've blown glass in San Diego. I've blown glass here in Seattle. I've blown glass in other places, and I've met a lot of different people. I've met 7 professional glass blowers. I met Dante Marioni. I met Martin Blank. I met Bud Blodgett. I met Lino Tagliapetra and a couple others. You know, I sold a piece of glass to Lino Tagliapetra as an amateur. You know, and I'm very, very excited about that, because Lino Tagliapetra, he is the best glass blower in the world. And I sold a piece of glass to the guy as an amateur. I was like 14 when I did that. I'm saying I literally have a photograph of me shaking the man's hand after we made a deal on the piece of art that he bought. And it ended up going into one of his houses, you know. Do I know which house it went into? No, because the man has multiple houses. But it was a cloud 9 moment in my glass blowing career. You know what I'm saying? My boss at the time, she goes, "Go have him critique your work. Go have him critique your work." And I'm like, I don't know about this, man. At the time, this guy, he was in his like 70s. Now he's in his late 80s, and it took me 2 hours to muster up the courage to have this man critique my work. And finally, I do it. You know, and he's an Italian. He's hard to understand, and so I had to kind of put things together and piece them together. And he's looking at my work, and he goes, "I like this." I go, "Buy it, and I'll sign it." You know what I'm saying? And that's what he did. He bought it on the spot. And so I went in the back, and I had grabbed a Dremel, and I signed it for him, and I brought it back to him, and I go, "Here you go." And then I flipped it over, and I showed him the bottom where I signed it, and he wrote me a check, and it was nice. You know, I have yet to do something that big that tops that moment in my glass blowing career. I've been blowing glass since I was like 13. I'm 32. I don't do it regularly anymore, but I did do it regularly for 5 or 6 years. It's a good feeling when your hard work is appreciated. It's a good feeling when your hard work does pay off because you feel better about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else feels better about themselves and you accomplished something. So I can definitely appreciate that. Little gnat on the table running around. I don't want to deal with that. And I definitely don't want it in my coffee. Yeah. Do you suffer from addiction? I hope. I ask only because you've been saying you stayed in trap houses. I have been addicted. I have been an addict. I am an addict, but I am in recovery. And I had gone live the other day, and I had shouted out in my live a recovery coach that I follow on YouTube, JD Delay. Shout him out again, right? I want to actually do some collaborations with that guy, and I want to meet him. And I want to get to know, you know what I'm saying, other people's struggle because we all struggle, you know what I'm saying? The question is, what struggles do we go through at what point in time we're going through them? I'm saying everybody's the same. We all have problems. We all have good. We all have bad. It's just at what point in time do have these things going on? So it depends. But I mean, I'm not addicted now. No. But do I have addictions? You know what I'm saying? Do I dabble? Yes, I do. And I really had to change my life so I didn't stay in that cycle of addiction and disease because that's what disease and addiction is. So it's definitely hard, you know. But like I said, I lived in trap houses, I lived in tents, I lived in cars, I lived in my own place, I've stayed with people, I've done all this, I've done all that. And it only makes me a better person because it allows me to learn and be a better person. It's very hard, but I don't let it stop me. You know what I'm saying? Things that happen in my life, they are stages and whatnot to bigger and better. You know what I'm saying? I don't want things that I do and certain things that I've done to define who I am. You know what I'm saying? My addiction didn't define who I was. My addiction was just that, my addiction. But now that I'm sober and clean, I do live streaming like I'm doing now. I do live coaching. I do, you know what I'm saying, sit here and talk to people and talk with others that are recovery coaches and whatnot because I want people to do better. I want to do better myself. And that's all we can do. That's all we can be is the best that we can be. Now, my best is probably going to be different than your best. So maybe you can take something that I said and use it as a benefit to your life. Maybe I can take something that you said and use it as a benefit to my life. It's very possible. And that's the thing about interaction is that, you know what I'm saying, you can learn from anybody. From listening to you, I can tell that you're a good soul. I appreciate that. And I do have a good, kind soul. It's very hard to be that for everybody, but I try to be that for others, not for myself, but for others, because I know what that's like to not have somebody and be stuck and feel like you're worthless and not make it to where you want to be. So I definitely appreciate that. It makes me feel good. Hey, and you're posting comments on my live, and that's giving me statistics and this and that. So, you know, I'm trying to help out. I know there's a way that you can collaborate in lives with people, but I don't know how that works. I need to figure that out because I definitely wouldn't mind having other people come into the live if they so choose. Uh, let's see. I'm gonna start a Q&A here, and we're gonna call this "Things You Don't Know." Okay, okay, there we go. So I have to click it and then I have to start it. Okay, I see. Okay, it's not gonna let me do that, but I just found out about live like 2 hours ago. LOL, this is cool though. I like hearing people's stories. That's awesome. I've done live streaming on YouTube. I've done live streaming on Facebook. I've done live streaming on Instagram. I've done live streaming on apps outside of those. And my sister is a life coach, and I started doing the live streaming where she was because she had recommended it. And then I got to a point where I felt that I could do it. And so I started doing it. When I started live streaming, I was on the app that I was on 70 hours a week for an entire month. And I ended up getting host on that app where I was paid to stream. You know what I'm saying? Please like, subscribe, and share because that's what I'm trying to do is grow my channel. And I hope that, you know what I'm saying, the things that I've said in this hour benefit whoever watches this because I only know what I know. Things I don't know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can't be hurt by things I don't know. But that's it too, wanting to hear people's stories, wanting to understand. I'm not making money from this yet, but if you put in enough work, you can get money from YouTube and streaming. Yes, you can. It takes like 3 videos in 90 days. You know what I'm saying? It takes like X amount of watch hours, and then it takes consistency. Um, I just do it to support others and help others, but at the same time, I could be paid for this. I have been paid for doing this. And if my channel gets big enough, which I started my channel over a decade ago, I just didn't use it heavily for streaming and stuff like that. But you can be paid for it. You say, do you like metal music? I only use YouTube, or I'd subscribe to your other channels. I do most of my live streaming here on YouTube because this is one of the biggest platforms. But my channel is very, very small as I'm a one-man channel and I don't edit my videos. You know what I'm saying? My videos are raw and uncut because that's what I like. And I want to be raw and uncut. I don't want you guys to see this and say, oh, he sugarcoated something, or oh, he didn't tell the truth, or he omitted something, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm saying I choose to be as real and as face front and blunt as I need to be because that's what it is. I don't want to be told, oh, you're a great person, and then come to find out I'm not. It's just me. So, I mean, if you subscribe to my channel here, you'll get my updates. Like this morning, I posted my Good Morning Daily short. Uh, there was some time that I was going through some stuff where I missed out. Uh, I missed out because I had some personal stuff going on. And as much as I want to do YouTube every day and I do my Good Morning Daily shorts and I try and go live every day, there's some days that I just can't because I have other things going on. So when I get the time to go live and I get the time to do my streaming, that's what I do because not only does it help me feel better about myself because I'm able to get stuff out and talk about it, but it also helps other people such as yourself and others because they get to see things from a different perspective. I say it all the time. Interpretation and perception is individual. We all have a different outlook and a different interpretation and perspective on any given topic. So, if what I've said here today helps you, then so be it. I did something very good for somebody because I just put forth the effort. You know what I mean? So, I'm glad that you're able to look at my channel and take some grace from it and whatnot because if it helps you, then it helps me by helping you. So I'm happy about that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, oh. Coffee is great. I'm drinking the Starbucks Pike Place Roast. I've been drinking it since 2008 when it came out. It's uh, dark roast, but it's not heavily dark. It's a medium roast, but it's dark. You've helped me. You've kept me company. I miss my baby girl. She started daycare so she could socialize with kids her age, and I miss her. So I tried to fill that time. Of course, you know what I'm saying? And then there's going to come a time where she's no longer in daycare and you get to spend that time. A stay at home dad, congratulations. I can admire that. I can appreciate that. I would love to be a stay at home dad. Absolutely. I would love it. But I know with the way that my life is going, I can't do that because with what I have going on and what the wife has going on and this and that, it's a hassle, you know. But to those that want to be stay at home moms or dads, you know what I'm saying, kudos to you. I know in today's economy, it takes two incomes to survive, which is why I'm trying to get two jobs, two full-time jobs, and work 80 plus hours a week. Not because I don't want to see the kids, not because I don't want to be there for her. It's because I want to put in the work early in my life so that way I don't have to put any more work in, you know. What disabilities do you have? Yeah, I'm definitely doing what I got to do. And it's not because I want to do it; it's because I have to. I took on the responsibility of raising two children that aren't mine, but they are mine because I've taken on that responsibility, and I really get mad at her for that because even though people in her life don't like me, that doesn't mean I don't have love to give to the kids. You know what I mean? That's all I want to do. And like I said, I was engaged twice. I almost married my high school sweetheart until she walked out. And then I had rings, I had the plan. All we had to do was, jump in the car and go to the spot. And it didn't work out because she walked out. You have autism and panic attacks. Body starts to shake. I had 15 different jobs in my life, and I'm 24. You know, and that's me too. I haven't had 15 jobs, but I've had five or six. And for the longest, I was a liability. You know what I'm saying? And that's what disabled people are. We're liabilities to corporations because if we get hurt or something happens while we're at work, we're they're liable, right? But at the same time, like you said, you have kids in the world just like I do, and they need to eat. I need to eat. So if we don't get that opportunity, then we don't make it. So I, when I got my first job at 7-Eleven, I broke down in front of the lady and cried. She was like, "You got the job." I'm like, "Really? I got the job?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Really?" She was like, "Yeah." And so, then saying because that lady took a chance on me, I chose to run with that job for 2 years up until our store got sold. You know, I may be a liability, right? Because I have disabilities and this and that. But I also know that I can be an asset to your company because I have skills that other people do not have. So, you know, I just do the best that I can. You can call me a liability all you want. I don't care. I'm saying I don't let my disabilities stop me. I don't let what somebody else has to say stop me and affect my life and just run with that. No, I'm gonna take the emotion out of it. I'm gonna boil down the facts, and then I'm gonna make a conclusion for myself, like science taught me to do growing up. So it's all about your perspective and your outlook and how you deal with it. Ah, yes, coffee. Uh, they got music jamming in the cafe, as you heard earlier. I like Red Bull too, but I will advise because you have the disabilities that you have, low and slow on the Red Bulls, my man. See, I took Xanax too for anxiety and panic attacks too. You know what I'm saying? And then I got addicted to Xanax. You know what I'm saying? So I don't take Xanax anymore, even though I can go straight to my doctor and go get them. You know what I mean? I don't take them no more because I took them a lot more than I should, and we got ourselves addicted. You know what I mean? And yeah, you know, and that's it. Once you're an addict, you're always an addict, and it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. It all depends on what your choices were. You know what I'm saying? But hey, then again, everybody is an addict. You know what I'm saying? We're addicted to eating food. We're addicted to drinking water. You know, So I don't just mean to say that as I'm saying an addict on drugs. I'm an addict to eat every day. You know what I mean? If I don't eat every day, I feel groggy. I feel low. You know, my blood sugar spikes or it drops or whatever the case may be. Everybody has their own addiction. You know, look at somebody that eats 5,000 calories a day and gains weight. You know what I'm saying? They're addicted to food. You know what I'm saying? Look at the people that drink water every day, all day long, and they're addicted to water, and they, you know what I'm saying, go to the bathroom 5 times in an hour. You know what I mean? We all have our, you know what I'm saying, DOC exactly. You know what I'm saying? We all have that. And I don't know all of what yours are or what they can be, but I think with the proper, you know what I'm saying, outlook and some proper guidance and maybe a friend to talk to like me, you know what I mean? You can beat it. Started at 25 milligrams. I'll be honest, I drink a Red Bull a day. I switched out to Red Bulls. LOL, it's weird, but it works, and I gotta sit down and relax for a minute when I drink. Yeah, I mean, the thing with that is that you know Red Bull is not meant to be a daily thing. It's meant to be used as a pick me up when you need it. You know what I'm saying? Just like coffee shouldn't be used every day just for that, you know? But I drink coffee every day or drink some caffeine every day because if I don't, I get caffeine headaches. Like 3 or 4 months ago, I was staying at my nephew's house and, you know, him and his mom, they drink coffee every day. And so for the, you know, couple of months I was staying there, you know, I was drinking coffee every day, and there was a day or two that I didn't drink coffee, you know, and I felt it. I felt caffeine headaches, and you know, I eat, I drink water, I this, I that. It'd be, you know, right here on top of my head, and I'd feel it, and then I'd drink some coffee or some caffeine, and I would literally no longer have that caffeine headache pain. Hmm. Well, man, that's good that you're no longer doing that, you know, and you changed it up because that's not something that you should do. You know what I mean? You definitely don't want your children to see that. You know what I mean? So you're doing the right thing. You know, and that's all we can do is be the best we can be. I don't know if you've ever seen these right here. You know what I'm saying? The sriracha flavored almonds. I be eating on these all the time. You know what I'm saying? They're not super spicy. They have the dusting of the sriracha on them. You know what I'm saying? But they're almonds, and they're actually really really good. Hmm. I don't eat peas. Peas are one vegetable that I won't eat because as a child I was force fed peas. My tuna casseroles or peas and salads and, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? My mom used to make me sit at the table and eat peas. And I never liked peas. It's not the flavor of peas, it's the texture. Just like, you know what I'm saying, I don't like mushroom, cooked mushroom anyway, unless it's like sauteed on a steak or raw in a salad. You know what I'm saying, I don't like blue cheese, but I'll put a couple pieces of gorgonzola, which is a blue cheese, in a salad. Hmm. So peas are a no. Then I got you. Almonds are healthy, and I mean peas are healthy too. But I just don't eat peas because I was force fed peas as a child. So that's my reason. That may not be yours. To each their own. I'm saying we all have what we have going on. We all like what we like. So I can't be mad. I'm just glad that I can help somebody out, and you know I can make somebody feel better because that makes me feel better that I'm able to help others. So I mean, I just try to be the best I can be, just like everybody should. You know, Hmm. I see myself in you in a way. Yeah, you know, I can definitely understand where you're at. You know, I was you at one point in time, and I went through addiction from like 13 to like 25. You know what I mean? And I had some things change in my life, and I lost some people, I gained some people, and then I watched things change. And some of those changes I liked, some of those changes I didn't like. So, what can we do? You know what I'm saying? We're individuals. We can only do what we can do. We can't get mad about things we don't know. What you don't know can't hurt you. And I've always said it like this: I don't knock somebody that I know because I know them. I don't knock somebody that I don't know because I don't know them. Because everybody has a story. You have a sponsor and you go to NA. Okay, good for you, man. Maybe maybe talking with your sponsor and talking to other people, you can start a group yourself, and you can try and do something different. You know, it's ultimately up to you as an individual what you want to do and what you're thinking of, because we're individuals. You know, but that's good because everybody needs somebody to talk to. Yeah, it helps, and I bring cookies to the meetings sometimes. LOL. That's nice. I mean, you don't have to bring a cookie, but hey, people like cookies, and it might start a conversation. I don't know. I just try to be the best I can be. I know I've gone to AA meetings and NA meetings for people, and the last time I did that, I had sat at a table, and an older gentleman that was in there, he said to me, "Change your outcome." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I don't have bad days." And I said, "Everybody has bad days." He said, "No, I don't have bad days." And I go, "How is that?" He goes, "Because I change my outcome. I dictate my outcome every day." And I kind of took heed to that, and I started doing that myself. And now I understand it, and I can live with it, and I can believe it because it has started with me, and it does end with me because I'm an individual. So we have a once a month gathering where we all bring food and socialize. It took me a while to get used to everyone. It's the only group of people I can be around. I used to only stay for 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And that's it too, building rapport and meeting new people and getting to know people. It takes time. People don't show their true colors in one day, you know. But that's definitely a good thing that you've found some people that you can interact with, and they drive you to be better. You know, they drive you to try something new. And then again, you're also, not doing the things you used to do because now you're on to new things. So it's definitely a benefit to you. I have anxiety, depression, post traumatic stress disorder. So I don't like crowds, but I do build rapport with people. And once I build rapport with people and I'm comfortable, then things change. So maybe that's what's necessary. You know, maybe that'll help you, maybe it won't. I don't know. But I'm just thinking it helped me, so maybe it can help you too. I'm getting messages from somebody that I know, and she's like, "Oh, my boyfriend doesn't want me to talk to you," and I'm like, "Why do you constantly put that person over you? Like you're an individual. Yeah, you may not. That person may not want you to do something, but at the end of the day, you're gonna do what you want to do because you're an individual. So the Serenity Prayer, insisted I do my name meetings just as a precaution, so I had to build up to this point of being comfortable. Yes, I've heard that prayer. Do I know it off the top of my head? No, but you know what I'm saying. If it helps you be a better person, then it's definitely worth the effort. You know, you can't deny yourself love. You can't deny yourself effort because that's what life is. It's effort. And so they say life is what you make it. And to a point, that is true. To another point, it's not true because it's circumstance. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the situation that I'm in because I lost everything. And it's disappointing because I want to bounce back. I'm going to bounce back. I just don't know when. But I'm not going to give up just because I've had some hardships in my life, you know. I'm trying to sit closer to this chair, or this table, so that way I don't drop anything because I've dropped things on these tables before. Don't give up. Interviews coming up. Yeah, I'm excited. I still got a couple of hours before the interview, and I was gonna stream my Call of Duty video again because I have uh, backbone controller right here, and you know what I'm saying I was gonna play some Call of Duty, but I got caught up on my live stream, so I might end it, I might not. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited and I'm having fun sitting here talking to you and giving you insights from a different perspective. You know what I mean? The backbone controller that I bought, it was like $100, and it was great because now with the fact that this controller just plugs into my iPhone that I'm using, it doesn't require batteries. All my other controllers, they require batteries. So this is nice. If you get one, make sure you get the case. The case is like $25. The thing is like 100, but I didn't pay that for that. I think I walked. I think I walked out of that store paying like $120 for the backbone controller and the case. I also play PlayStation and I play Xbox as well. I've had every PlayStation they made. I've had all of the Xboxes they made. I've had Nintendo 64s. I've had Sega Genesis. I've had Dreamcast. I've had Ataris. GTA 6 2026, even though they said it was supposed to be the end of 2025. I can't wait. I don't know if I'm gonna buy that game though because I play five and I've been playing five for over a decade. But they're still creating content for that game. They're still, putting new things in that game. That game is the most revenue generating video game of all time. So Rockstar has a big, I'm saying, shoe to fill with that new game. I'm saying like I have, if you go on to the Rockstar Social Club and you look me up, I'm saying you can put in my name. It's AZtashi because that's what my gamer tag is on Xbox. I'm saying? You can look me up. I have over $125 million in that game. Currently, I've made like $375 million in that game. And I play a lot, but I haven't played it because, I'm saying, my situation and I don't have my Xboxes in storage. So I've been playing mobile games recently, which is why there's a lot of Call of Duty on my channel. I'm saying, and then I got some other games, and I'm gonna start streaming those too. And I'm saying, I'm a video gamer, but I'm saying it's not my whole life. Rockstar made billions, and cool. I'm gonna screenshot your gamer tag. I'm saying, yeah, and then on PlayStation, I'm saying, my gamer tag is Chronic Racing Duck, KRONIK hyphen RACIN hyphen DUKK. I'm saying? Because that was a squad that I started when I was playing my racing games. I'm a big car fan. I'm saying? Gran Turismo, Midnight Club, Forza, Formula One, Assetto Corsa. I'm saying? I play all of those. So it just depends, man. I'm just staying busy. You know, uh, I'm feeling productive today. With the job interviews coming up, streaming on YouTube, all of it. I'm just excited. You know what I mean? Because I'm able to help other people change their lives. You know, so I can't be mad. Just as much as I'm saying, I've seen live streams and I've seen people get paid from doing it, and I was like, man, I can do that. I'm confident. I can do it. So, you know, that's what I'm gonna do. And here I am. I'm already 95 minutes into this live, an hour and a half, and I wasn't even trying to be live this long. You know what I'm saying? But I can sit here and talk all day long. So it's not like I have to get off the live. you know. And it's crazy because I seen something on Facebook, as you're saying, Rockstar made billions, which they did. And I seen something on Facebook just the other day that says, "Oh, is your kid addicted to video games?" You know, and the person in that ad was right. These video game companies, um, they do make these games to be addicting. They do make these games to influence a child's decision and get them to do what they see in video games. It's not always correct. It's not always right, but it does happen. Hey, if you gotta go do your thing, I don't want to keep you. I had fun. I don't usually do this, but I gotta go. I gotta finish cleaning. Do your thing, man. I'm probably gonna end my live here, get another cup of coffee, play some video games, and probably do some streaming on those, and just sit here and finish my coffee and wait for my job interviews. Thank you guys for tuning in. I definitely appreciate it. It has been a lot of fun. Like, share, and subscribe. New content to come. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you very much.